it's Dashia D.
And it's JStan.
And welcome back to In Retrospect Podcast, where we look beyond the surface to find understanding.
Bring you laughs, knowledge, and culture.
So sit back, relax, and join the convo. I definitely almost choked on that last sentence, but I got it out. That's what
Yeah, you
matters.
got it. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing, and nobody else gonna know till you stop. So you just keep it pushing. So what's good? What's new, Daisha? What's going on? How's life?
Listen.
Oh.
I am ready for this winter break. For those of you who don't know, I work for the school district. I'm not going to say which one, but I work for the school district, and I'm ready for winter break. I think a lot of people are stressed, and they're taking it out on their kids, unfortunately. And so,
Man, kids, the gift
wow.
that keeps on giving. Kids are the gift that keep on giving. I will say this: it is holiday season, people. So please, love your keep your loved ones close to you. Please check on your friends that you know that may not have a bunch of family. Just make sure that you keep in touch with them around this time. A lot of folks are by themselves for the holidays, or not as in touch with their families as you may be. We're going to get into it. Yes, we are. Today we got a few topics, very interesting topics, but this first topic we're going to get to is talking about Ruby Rose. She says that she is having issues finding love because everybody wants her.
That's right. How I'm going to find my soulmate if everybody want me?
I hate to say this, but I think a lot of women get confused with being wanted sexually by most men and being completely desired romantically.
But I think that's the point of the tweet. How would she know?
I mean, look at her. First off, ain't no dude finna take her serious. Let's be real. No one wants to be told what to do or how to act, but usually if you want something serious, you've got to change some things.
I'm pretty sure a lot of guys want her. She's funny, smart, and beautiful. Why wouldn't they? I'm sure so many guys would cuff her if they could, so stop hating.
I mean, a lot of guys, want a lot of women. I mean, it doesn't mean what we want y'all romantically, of course. That's why I said y'all get that confused, y'all get that mixed up, or you get confused and think y'all actually have a real options. I'm not hating or anything. She's fine. You know what I'm saying? Fine as hell. I mean, and another fella chimed in. He said, "Man, these women will make any excuse. You're spitting facts, my dude, and they can't handle it, unfortunately."
Alrighty, and scene. I understand what everyone's saying, to be honest with you. I understand what she's saying of because she is a pretty girl and she has that Instagram type look. I'm sure she gets approached often more than the typical woman would. And so it's kind of hard for her to decipher, okay, who wants to get to know me at the core of Ruby versus who just wants to have sex. So I understand what she's saying. And then I also understand what the guy is saying of like,
oh, you understand that shit? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I mean, but I feel like that's what him saying you guys don't understand when the difference between a man wanting you physically versus actually wanting you. The issue is this.
Go ahead, yeah.
People need to communicate what they want from the jump. If you just want to hook up, say that. If you just want to be friends, say that. If you're trying to find your husband or wife, say that. So that you can align yourself with those people who want the same things you do. It's that simple. But people make it so complicated because I think that there's a lot of guys specifically who try to lead or string women along to believe that they want something serious up until they get in her pants and then they fall back because they've already gotten what they wanted.
I mean, I understand where Buddy was coming from completely. I mean, there's a lot of situations that a lot of folks run into where they just lust for somebody. They don't really want to be with somebody. Then you also have these relationships out here that there have people that are together that don't even like each other. And you wonder like, what? How do you not like the person that you with? Which is interesting. So, which leads to, a lot of, lust, I really wanted her. And all of a sudden you with this person and you really didn't really want to get to know the person. And, that's just the issue across the board for everyone, in my honest opinion. I feel like when it comes to things like that, like we just have to be more aware as people. But in this day and age, a lot of folks just call themselves trying to take people out for a spin, is what I say, which is weird. So, like you said, it's best for you just to establish what you want at the beginning, even though some folks will start off talking a good game and then do completely something different. So,
So
I
two
mean,
things.
me personally, I do everything. All my actions speak for me. Like I mean, everybody talk a good game. I always say actions speak louder than words. But go ahead. What are you about to say?
I was gonna say two things. So if I'm not mistaken, that specific Ruby Rose
Yeah.
used to date the rapper DDG, YouTuber DDG, and which would make sense in the public eye, right? Because they want to match people based on aesthetics, and that didn't last. And now he's dating Halle Bailey, and I've seen comments on social media like, go get you, Instagram model type chick because Halle is just a natural girl. She has locks. She doesn't have a BBL and all this extra stuff. And they seemingly have a very healthy, happy relationship. So again, I feel like people need to communicate what they want. And at some point, look for some substance. Like, is everything just going to be about sex? Because at some point, you're going to I would hope that you would want something of substance, someone you can go to, talk to, and not just have sex with.
Them looks will fade. Something will fade as the years go by.
Oh,
You can
that was
only do this.
yeah.
You can only do it
But
but for so long. You can lust off everything. I'm gonna tell you right now. You might think you the baddest thing right now, man or female. But
yeah,
soon or later, Father Time, it's gonna catch up with you. And there's always gonna be somebody out there that look better than yourself. So you just gotta be comfortable in your skin and know who you are first and foremost and don't waste people's time. That's all I gotta say. Ain't nothing good gonna come
I
from
I agree. And speaking
it.
about being comfortable in your own skin,
Well.
Zaya Wade, which is the daughter of Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, um, came out as being trans
Oh yeah.
earlier. Was it this year? I feel like it was earlier this year, and there have been some
This
backlash.
has been a long. This has been a long year for real.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie to you. It feels like.
yeah.
Go ahead.
There has been some backlash because people feel like um they shouldn't be encouraging their child to live in her truth. But then they've also been praised for being supportive parents. Well, Gabrielle Union recently went on an interview with Jamel Hill at one of her live talks in LA, which I will go ahead and show that clip now, where she
Oh yeah, a little
addresses
snippet.
one of the most infamous haters.
Oh no, relax. That man was chilling.
So far, so good. Sorry, Boosie. He's so preoccupied.
Yeah, he is very
It's
much
almost
so.
like thou doth protest too much, little Booze.
I'm gonna look.
You got a lot of dick on your mind.
I mean, it's
Throw
like
that out there.
It's like Zaya and Lil Nas X living his head.
As one would imagine, Boosie
Now, why
was
would they
not
do that?
Boosie was not pleased by that, and this is what he tweeted. Okay, he said, "LOL, the whole world know I love women, and the world know your husband love. Hope you don't think blacks look at y'all like a power couple. They don't. I have refused to talk about y'all in interviews, and here you go." He spelled "here" as in hearing.
No, don't do that. Just read the words. Let everybody digest them. Don't do that.
Go bang him with that dildo and wait on a script, you little white girl. So that was his response. He also went on live and went on a rant, but I didn't watch it because I don't care. So what were your thoughts on that?
I just don't understand, man. Like he finally started. My whole thing was, come on, good and well, he was gonna run his mouth regardless. But it blew me because I was like, he finally left it alone. He really left it alone. He was going out his way to leave it alone because everybody was telling him to leave it alone. Now the fact she went on this interview and just proceeded just to say whatever, she knew, and I got him started all the way back up. You know how Boosie go. Once you get him started, he not gonna stop.
The
Like
thing is,
this is not gonna stop. Like he gonna start this whole thing all up over again.
This is the issue, though. This is the issue. It's much like the whole Chris Rock and Will Smith situation. You cannot go on record talking shit about people's family for months, years, whatever. You going on social media, you doing interviews, and every time you got their family members in your mouth. And then when they ignore you, they keep their chin up, their head up, they don't say anything.
When's the last time you said anything?
Pause. And then they go on an interview and they decide to address you. I don't see anything wrong with it. Like I said last year, Boosie, much like she just said, for some reason, is preoccupied with the LGBTQ community. Anytime Lil Nas X did something, he had something to say. Anytime somebody brought up anything gay related, he was bringing up Zaya Wade, to the point where Mike Tyson said, "Are you gay?" Let's not forget that. Mike Tyson said, "Are you gay?" And he sobered up real quick. He didn't have any response for a grown man, but he had something to say to her. It's corny. Go ahead.
Listen, all I'm saying is, I'm not saying you wrong, but what I am getting at is, when he was doing all of that, they was responding. But I don't know how he got quiet all of a sudden.
When were they responding?
Wade responded to him several times.
And said what?
He told him that you already told him all that. If he wanted to assist with whatever he had going on or whatever he can, but he didn't. Boosie didn't get involved with that. Them two never came together like that. They tried to have a phone call. He didn't do the phone call or whatever that people were trying to get set up. But nonetheless, he stopped talking about them people's family, like you said, in the public. Now, I understand what you're saying. You feel as if though if you're going to talk about somebody in the public, it should be addressed again in the public. But when is the last time this man brought up this family?
It doesn't matter about the last time. Let me tell you something.
Oh Lord!
When our podcast,
when is the last?
Listen. When our podcast becomes successful to the point where we're doing this full time, because we will be, I'm put out in the universe. If another podcaster goes online and they talk trash about your mama, my mama, if you have a spouse, my spouse, please believe it will be addressed on the podcast. We're not doing these private phone calls and DMs, because if you were disrespectful on air, then you will be addressed on air. Like, I don't care if he stopped it yesterday. I don't care if he stopped it in July. He did it for so long without them clapping back at him in the manner that he needed to be clapped back at. I don't feel bad for him. Boosie is always putting his nose in things that have nothing to do with him. And he irritates me. But he puts his nose in things that have nothing to do with him. And because they clap back, now you saying Dwayne Wade is gay. That's that. Now you're saying that, I guess. That's your comeback.
I feel like you really don't like Lil Boosie.
I don't like the things that I don't like some of the things that he does. And I don't like how a lot of men, Boosie has admitted on air to having a grown woman have sex with his child. No one said anything. That's Boosie, that boy crazy, boy, that nigga crazy. He gets on air and he makes assumptions about a child's body because he assumed that they got surgery for Zaya Wade. He assumed that. He made comments about Lil Nas X performing and doing too much gay stuff on stage. And that's when men want to back him up, when he's being homophobic, when he's being transphobic, when he's saying ignorant stuff. We want to back him up. The minute Gabrielle Union finally says something as a bonus mom, here go black men. See, that's her problem now. She should have had the Wayne wig. Like, that's a shame. She would have. Shut up. Y'all don't hold each other accountable when y'all need to. That's
all
it.
I'm saying is.
That's all I gotta say with him.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you got that off your chest. All I was saying is, listen, if somebody addresses your people publicly, you need to address that as soon as possible. I understand she tried to hold her tongue as long as she possibly could, or she possibly was waiting for somebody to ask her and she was going to say what was on her mind. But me personally, I wouldn't have waited so long. I would have been said something publicly or whatever on whatever platform. But hey, everybody does everything differently. Everybody processes differently. Everybody feels more comfortable coming out whenever. But as you stated in your analogy, I wish another podcast would. But anyway, we're gonna move forward. Because I would, boy, let me stop. I'm not gonna put that bad energy out there. Let me stop. Everyone is beautiful. Everyone be successful. Much love. So we're gonna move on to the most talked about topic of the last week, which is Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State University and moving on to Colorado to become the head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes. A lot of backlash is being had due to the fact that he said that our people need to come into the schools where, predominantly historically black colleges, universities, HBCUs, historically us black people should be going to HBCUs to play for people that look like us. But yet Deion is leaving and folks are upset and they are saying that he turned his back on the community to go take a job at Colorado, I should say, for the Colorado Buffaloes University. So what are your thoughts on that, Daisha? Do you feel like he should be looked at as someone that turned his back on the black community? And I will say this caveat as well to give you a little bit of background. He was donating half of his Jackson State University salary to the institution to help them build better facilities. Go ahead, Daisha.
I don't know. I don't really have a strong opinion about it. What I do, as far as what I know, do college football coaches even stay at colleges that long? Like, isn't their contract yearly?
It is. It's not. I wouldn't say yearly renewed. A lot of them sign like 4 to 5, maybe longer contracts. But there's always like a coaching carousel. A lot of coaches usually stay a long time if they're successful. But what happens is the main issue here, in my honest opinion, is that the facility difference is astronomical. You
I
have
understand that.
like a lot of money is being poured into these people call them
PWIs.
People call them PWIs, predominantly white institutions or whatnot. And the reason being is they've been a lot is this that they're predominantly white institutions and folks are getting more money there. So what happens is that those universities are usually bigger. They get more funding. And apparently he's left in that facility that he's in Colorado is like $165 million facility versus Jackson's facility, which is maybe, $10 million facility, maybe around that. I'm not too sure on the numbers, but needless to say, everything is a lot better because he's going to a bigger
white school
with more of that. And a lot of folks are giving him backlash. In my honest opinion, I don't see that he did anything wrong. His statement was the reason that he ended up leaving for the most part was that coaches either elevate or get elevated or get terminated. One or the other.
So,
but
okay. The reason why I asked if it's normal, like if they're having yearly contracts, is because if that's a normal practice for a coach to stay at a school for a few years and leave, then one would have expected that he would have been there for his 3 years that he was there, and then he would eventually move on. Now, I do understand how, unfortunately, as Black people, we put a lot of weight on the ones that make it. So in this case, Deion is seen as this savior who's supposed to go to this Black school, recruit these Black football players. We need to start getting more funding for HBCUs. I got it. I understand. But it's unfair. You know what I mean? Because we can't place all that responsibility on Deion. What we can do is those of us who are able to help out HBCUs, if you can donate to your HBCU that you attended or one that you would have attended, just try to figure out ways to help it, because we can't put that responsibility on one person. That's not fair.
Right. And I had a conversation with my friend. It's like we as people got to do a better job. And I'm not even just going to say Blacks, it's people in general. We always say that, somebody needs to do this and they need to do that. And, something is minor when it's not bothering you, or it has nothing to do with you. It's minor when it's somebody else. It's major when it's on you or anything pertaining to you. It's a major thing that you got to, solve. Because I had a conversation with one of my friends, this past weekend, and we talked about stuff like this in regards to the whole situation. It's just like, at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you and your family. Like, I mean, I fully understand people say, he got this and money, he do all this, but people fail to realize, like, life is short. Like, if you feel the need to go pursue something, you should go do that. Like, at the end of the day, like, he, you know, he has an obligation, but to so many people, that I'm gonna tell you that right now, like the people in his family, the obligation to himself to try to do what he wants to pursue. Because think about it, Deion ain't no spring chicken. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's
Yeah.
old neither, but at the same time, if he wants to go out there and try to accomplish some things, he should have the right to go accomplish some things. Like I mentioned earlier, that man sacrificed half of his contract to go towards the facilities, and then it's coming out now that he still owes Jackson State $300,000 or whatever because he, you know, got out of his contract early or whatever. But that's nothing to him, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's just like he did more good in a situation than bad, and it's still getting backlash for leaving. He left it in good standing. Like, everything is upgraded, everything was better after he left.
I also think that we have to be mindful that trying to force him to stay would be like placing a band-aid on a bigger issue. The bigger issue is that Black schools need more funding, and not just for sports. It needs more funding in general. That's the conversation that needs to be had. Because why is it that, you know, you go to a white university and they have top-notch facilities and dorm rooms, and they have some of the top, just all of that, versus going to a Black school? It doesn't look the same. I'll tell you that. It doesn't look the same. I went to the College of Charleston and USC, and I used to work at Benedict College. Hell of a difference.
The further you go up north, you'll start to realize like these schools are like buildings. Like, when we say institutions, these are buildings. Like, these places are huge compared to most HBCUs. Most HBCUs might take up maybe a quarter of like how big some of these institutions truly are. Like, it's really insane. Like, the square footage difference, as well as like how the facilities look. It's like it's a major difference. And a lot of folks need to take, yes.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of folks need to be mindful of that. Like, I understand you feel as if though he's supposed to stay around because he said, oh, he's going to do this and do that. But, things change. People change as well. I mean, circumstances change as well. So a lot of folks trying to say if somebody didn't offer them $30 million that they wouldn't left. Okay, all right. Anyway, moving along.
Question to you is, why didn't you attend an HBCU when you were a senior? Why didn't you go to HBCU? Why didn't you apply or any of that?
I actually did apply to HBCU. The reason I didn't go to the HBCU after the fact was more because the HBCU that I did, I'm not going to name the HBCU, of course, because I'm not going to name it.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, I knew you were. That's why I stated it out there first. Their accreditation at that time was in not in good standing for the degree I was trying to get. So that was just not an option. Don't laugh. I'm serious. So
I know what you're talking about now.
The accreditation was in question for the degree I was pursuing. So that's ultimately why that did not occur. So that's me, and it happens a lot. A lot of folks do deal with that situation. And what I will say I'm talking from the academic side, but as well from the athletic side as well. A lot of athletes aren't being recruited by HBCUs because these HBCUs believe they cannot even get them. So, I mean, that's another thing as well. Like, a lot of HBCUs have turned away folks who are saying that they want to go there and say, oh, no, you don't want to go here. What?
Yeah.
How you going to tell somebody they don't want to go there?
And if you could go back in time, would you still have made the same decision to go?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Every decision I made so far in my life, whether it may have been the right or wrong or whatever, has definitely got me to this point. I'm completely glad. My network is what it is, and I am completely fine. If I didn't go to where I went, first off, I never would have met you in the first place. I would have never seen you. Yeah. So it's a lot of things that would have occurred that I probably would have been in a whole different position. My network wouldn't be as wide. I wouldn't know as many people. Like, a lot of stuff wouldn't occur. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, I'm gonna get it out the mud kind of fella, but it wouldn't be as things definitely wouldn't have gone how they went, and I wouldn't change anything, me personally. Yourself, Daisha. Enough about Justin.
So, when I was in high school, right, I never had interest in going to an HBCU, and this is teenage me now. I had zero interest in going to an HBCU because of the way that they painted HBCUs at my high school. They made it seem as if HBCUs were at the bottom of the barrel. You weren't going to get the same education. Your degree wasn't going to have as much value. And pretty much like anybody can get accepted. Like that's the last resort school you want to go to. So that's the picture that I had of HBCUs. So by the time I started applying to school, I was like, I'm not doing that. So I didn't apply to any. Not for undergrad, I didn't. It wasn't until I started college and I went to a school where at the time it was 6% Black. So just sit with that. It was 6% Black. And I found the show A Different World. And I binge watched it my freshman year of college. And I was like, damn, I wish I saw this show about a year ago, because I would have felt so empowered, and I would have I feel like if I could go back in time, I would go to an HBCU. Not in the state of South Carolina, but I would have gone to an HBCU. I did apply to Howard for grad school, and I was almost going to go, but it was expensive to move to DC and all that jazz. But if I could go back in time, I would have gone to Howard University, the real HU, for undergrad.
I know people that went there for undergrad and they left shortly after. But that's a story. That's a story for neither here nor there. You just have to understand that a lot of successful people have come from HBCUs, and the moral of the story is your situation is what you make it. So do not ever let anybody try to dictate what your decisions may be. If you can tolerate the situations that you're going to take on and you can handle, that is on you. Don't worry about what others say.
And I'm also going to add, as a community, and I'm talking to us, Black people, we have to reframe the way that we look at certain situations. We have to come together to solve issues and not place that burden onto one person. We got to have,
it kills me too,
crab in a bucket mentality. We got to break the chains from that.
People need to step up. We need to do more uplifting. Stop tearing down. Stop trying to not pass on, but push off the responsibility onto somebody else. Like, we all have to take responsibility in some shape, form, or fashion. Get out there, try to make our little difference, whether that be you put a couple hours in at community service somewhere, an hour, 30 minutes, do something in your community, make a difference. It's really that simple. Like, a lot of folks don't realize it, but it really is. Like, don't go saying, oh, this person should do this, and you're not doing it. Don't criticize somebody if you're not putting the work in.
Agreed. So comment below. Let us know. Interact with us, y'all. We will comment back to you. Let us know what you thought about the show. What do you think about what Ruby Rose said? Was Gabrielle Union crossing the line, or was Boosie? And is Deion Sanders a sellout, or is he just doing what's in his best interest? I have been Dashia D.
And I've been JStan. Yeah.
Join us here every Friday at noon.
And always remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Talk to me nice. Make sure y'all go watch them videos.